So, who are these mysterious Rothschilds? There are tons of conspiracies, financial wealth, banking schemes, the Illuminati that the name Rothschild is associated with. Well, the truth is, I don't know who they are. I've never met someone from the Rothschild family. However, there is a story that is recorded from the late 1700s about the father of the original Mayer Rothschild, who was the one who started the bank. Now, his father was known as Anschel Moses, and this is in the late 1700s, and he lived in a town called Galicia, which I believe is in Poland. And working or trying to find work as a young man, he was studying Torah, he was studying in the yeshiva, and he found work with the great Rabbi Tzvi Horowitz, who was one of the great leaders of the Jewish community at the time. And he found work as his assistant. And he would help organize his belongings. He would help with his correspondence. He would help with his library. And he would help around the house as well as around his study and his place of learning. Well, after a year or two of being the shamish, the assistant of this Rabbi Tzvi Horowitz, Anschel Moses Rothschild went and got married in a nearby town and moved on from this position. Well, a few months later, it was the night before Passover, and Rabbi Tzvi Horowitz was doing his usual search for the chametz, for the bread that we're not supposed to have on Passover. It's a ceremony that we do the night before to make sure that there's no more chametz, there's no more food that we cannot eat in our house. We do a search around the house. And as this rabbi was searching the house, he came upon his personal desk where he had a section in his desk that was money that he collected for orphans and for widows to support them. And this was like the annual collect. He would collect it and then he would distribute it from this part of his desk. And when he was searching that area, he noticed that the entire drawer or where that money was kept was completely empty, which meant somebody stole it. And he was very disturbed. And in his thought process went to, well, the only person who really had access was my former assistant, who was Anschel Moses Rothschild. So after the first 2 days of Passover, during the intermediate days, he traveled to the nearby town where his former assistant lived. And he knocked on the door, and Anschel Moses opened the door, and he sees the rabbi standing at the door, and what could I do to help you? So the rabbi says, listen, I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to cause any trouble. I understand it was probably too hard to overcome the temptation. But the money that was in that drawer is missing, and the only person who had access was you. So I'm not accusing you. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. But if you could try to return it, that would be very, very helpful. Well, Anschel Moses looked at the rabbi, and he started to turn colors, and he told the rabbi to wait a minute. And he went inside to his house, and he gathered whatever money he had, and he brought it outside to the rabbi, and he says, here's the leftover of what I've took. I'm sorry that I did it. Here's the leftover funds. I'll bring you the rest in after Passover. I will make sure to have the rest of the money that I took and bring it back to you. Well, a few days after Passover, Anschel Moses comes to the rabbi's office in Galicia with the entire sum of money that was still missing, and he returns it to the rabbi. The rabbi was so appreciative and says, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Thank you so much for, rectifying this, rectifying this act of taking the funds that was given to charity. And that was it. A few months later, Rabbi Tzvi Horowitz, the rabbi, is sitting in his study, and he gets a knock on the door. And it's a police officer. And the police officer says, Rabbi, will you please come with us to the police station? So he goes to the police station, and there was a woman in handcuffs, and they asked the rabbi, do you know this woman? And he said, oh yeah, she was our maid not too long ago. not too long ago. Well, the police officer said, well, she just confessed to taking an entire sum of money from your study that was known to be for charity. Here it is. It's all collected. It's all here. Take it back. It's yours. Well, the rabbi was astonished. Wait a second. I thought it was my former assistant, Anschel Moses. Why did he confess to taking it, and why did he return the money if he never took it? So he immediately traveled to the nearby town, and he went to Anschel Moses' house, and he said, he knocked on the door and he apologized. He says, I'm so sorry I accused you of taking the money, but why did you confess? Why didn't you tell me the truth? So Anschel Moses said, well, when I heard that all this money is needed for charity, especially before Passover, I knew that if I told you I didn't take it, you wouldn't have the money and you wouldn't be able to distribute it. And I wanted you to have the money. So I figured the only way to give you the money was to say that I did it. And I went ahead and I pawned off everything that I have. I sold everything that I have after Passover, and I brought back the rest of the money to make sure that you had the full amount. And the rabbi blessed him and told him that he's going to never have to worry about funds. God will bless him with a livelihood and with success for him and his family and all going forward. So this is a positive story associated with the name Rothschild. So let's hope that we could always find the positive in everything that we see, in every person that we come in contact with, and bring only goodness and kindness into the world.